good news there. Not a lot of good news, as obviously it's towards the end of the year and things kind of slow down a little bit. In a little bit, it'll be posted up here, because I wasn't going to go through it all, but our spring musical, the Addams Family, was given quite a number of awards and honors this spring. Outstanding musical production, outstanding ensemble, outstanding student orchestra, and we had 5 individual student awards and 1 special recognition award. These students will have the opportunity to do some different things with the possibility of earning an opportunity to head to New York City to compete in some Jimmy Awards later on. So congratulations to our music department. If you didn't attend the Addams Family, you missed it because it was a great show.
It was a great
Really,
show. I
really
thought
good.
you did a great job.
Yeah.
Great.
Anything else, Ted?
Yep, just Lyle Farley, one of our kindergarten students at Emerson, participated in the CDLS Awareness Day, which is Cornelia de Lang Syndrome. And it was not a very good weather day, but it's one of 2, he has one of 2 students in Indianola who have that, but was out promoting it and raising money and awareness for a good cause.
Cool.
Natalie Clark, one of our elementary band instructors, was a presenter at the Iowa Bandmasters Association on super lessons, how to kickstart your band program, because I think they do a really good job of making sure that our students at the younger level get involved and become a part of band, and it's quite an accomplishment and quite an honor to give that information to your peers. And so congratulations to her. The Iowa State Coordinator and DeSoto National Wildlife Refuge proudly announced the 2023 art contest, the best of show for following the winning placements out of 523 other students who participated in the 2023 contest. Maggie Overton, a 9th grader, won 3rd place in the Iowa Junior Duck Stamp Contest, which is really a neat honor for her. On Friday, May 26th, Indianola High School completed at the Special Olympics in Ames. All the athletes that went placed in their age division. Becca Berkeley, first in walk with me. Kayla Barth, first in walk with me. Braden Thompson, first in tennis ball throw. And Dean Davis, 4th in the 50-yard dash and 2nd in the mini javelin. And you can see if Ray can get it up at some point. The students had a great day, and it was just a great experience and a lot of fun for them.
Cool.
And last but not least, the High School Life Skills Room had a party on May 19th to celebrate their graduates. The super seniors are excited to explore their other opportunities in the community. The students had a menu, prepared a meal, and shopped and purchased all the food items. The staff served them this time because it was a recognition for the students. And we even had some past teachers and peers stop by too. So congratulations to our seniors that are in the Life Skills program moving on to the next adventure of their life. So that is all the good news for this month. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions for Ted or any additions, board member reports?
I have one. We had a local apartment complex, the Meadow Village, Parkview Rose. They actually applied for their own summer meal program because Emerson is kind of the only food summer program site we have. And so if you have people call or families call and they're needing food and they live over kind of on the west part of town, and in that huge Meadow Village complex over there, they get food Monday through Friday for lunches. And then just for our community that is listening online, there's a mental health mobile unit that comes to We Lift on the 1st and 3rd Monday of every month that has staffed with a doctor, a pharmacist, and a nurse. So if families are struggling this summer, needing to get connected to some mental health resources, telehealth appointments, if they also help with substance abuse evaluations, they can do STI testing, and then look at prescriptions like Narcan. So open to our community, and then on the 2nd and 4th Monday, the Salvation Army mobile unit is there. They can help with rent assistance, utility assistance, food pantry, and clothing vouchers. So I know summer can be hard on a lot of families that maybe have kids at home. So just some more resources that we wanted to share.
Cool. Thanks. Anybody else? I was just gonna kind of second what Ted had mentioned about Natalie Clark, the elementary band instructor there. She's done an incredible job, and all of our band teachers have done well. I had the opportunity in end of April, beginning of May. I was, Sarah and I were on vacation, and we were with another couple who helps out significantly in their band program in another state, and it's one of the top band programs in the country. And they were shocked at the number, like our student population, and what percentage of students are involved in the band program. They said those numbers rival like your top performing bands across the country.
Absolutely.
And they were just shocked at that. So kudos to that band department for building a great program, and it starts there in the elementary school with Mrs. Clark, building a good program for those kids to continue on as they get older. I heard a lot of positive responses there on the 2-day training there from teachers and staff members that attended that and went through that safety training, that the instructors did a good job. It was very worthy of their time and a lot of things that they could take with them. And so that's great. And I'm glad we're able to get that in place.
And also a thank you to our teachers and staff, because some of that stuff can be hard to hear.
Sure.
And some of that stuff, 20 years ago, that probably wasn't needed in the curriculum or
Yep.
needed to educate. So I appreciate how they had to hear the severity of some of the things, but that they were open-minded and
Yeah.
they'd rather be educated and learn what to do than really. So I appreciate, I talked to city council and thanked them for their input, and chief of fire and chief of police and
Yeah.
just the management team. I know Mr. Ince did, and Officer Hackett really,
And Officer Keller.
and Officer, the huge, again, when we talk about working with our community, it took a large amount of people outside of our district to really pull together for us. And so I appreciate that, because that's what it's all about, is making sure when something happens, we recognize the people that are really our management team across our city and our county, so.
And then I was just gonna recognize because I'm biased, the boys and girls soccer teams this year did an incredible job. They got the furthest that they've gotten in many years into the state rounds there and stuff. And according to our coaches and stuff, the program is more solid and doing better than it has in decades. So that's a really good thing to hear. And both those coaches are doing a great job. Those varsity coaches, the girls and boys, are doing a great job of building a program up from kind of having to go from scratch and building it up. So thank you to all of those. Anybody else on anything? All right. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Just need a motion to approve. Motion by Matt. Seconded by Ryan. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Next is presentations. Anything there?
Nope, not tonight.
Any, let's see, district under G1, district, letter A, approval of the 2023-2024 meet and confer handbook. Any questions by the board on that? I just need a motion to approve.
Did you?
Make a motion to approve meet and confer handbook.
Motion made by Ben,
Second.
seconded by Donna. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Next is the 2023-2024 contract and letter of assignment issuance. I am trying to find that.
Probably on
59.
page, yeah,
59. Second while we get, it's like Wheel of Fortune.
It's a long list.
Okay, 1 second.
Do we need individual motions for all of these?
I was just
It
asked.
might be just because we have, I mean, unless you want to pull the superintendent out, because he's separate. He's in that list
Oh.
as well.
Okay.
And
So
you can-
probably
yeah.
each.
So make a motion to approve the administrative support specialist and summary of benefits, the teacher leaders, coaching and sponsors, and the administration summary of benefits,
And the meet and confer employees at the top.
and the meet and confer employees.
So all except the superintendent. Okay, that's fine.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay, motion made by Sue. Okay. Seconded by Mac. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Next would be the superintendent contract.
So who's got?
You probably need to state that.
We need that wording, right? So that would be back with the wording from.
I'm scrolling down to it right now.
Make a motion to approve a extended contract to the superintendent, adding another year on.
3 years.
To his 3-year contract,
Excellent.
and increasing his annual salary from $225,000 to $232,000 plus whatever the benefits that come along with that at the 3.11%.
Okay. Motion made by Mac. Sorry for interrupting you. Motion made by Mac to approve.
Second.
Seconded by Donna. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. All right. Next is the Teamworks Strategic Plan information.
Everybody should have received this last week. It was a rough draft of the information that we did in May, I believe it was May 16th, we had our meeting. It's a rough draft. Any feedback that you have, feel free to share with me, as I will send it back to Ray to clean up. Again, you'll notice we talked a little bit about the mission and the vision, the areas that we wanted to focus on, what our core values and what our strategic directions are at that point, at that first meeting. It doesn't mean that this is the one that we'll end up with. So the goal would be to get feedback from the board and then put it out on our webpage for public comment so they could share their views and opinions on it. And then probably August, September, when it's all cleaned up, present it for board approval.
Okay. So you need information back from the board members so that you can take it back to him
Yep.
for the rough draft?
You know what? Because we'll meet on the 26th again, so we have time. Just
Okay.
whenever you have time. But do it when it's fresh in your head.
26th of June, 26th of July, 26th of June.
Yep, 26th of June on Monday night work session.
Okay.
So wording that we don't like, that this is
Yep.
this is what we're looking for, wording that we don't like,
Yep.
or things that we don't want included,
Yep,
or doesn't
absolutely.
represent our thoughts.
Any
Okay.
feedback, because he just took it off that, if you remember that butcher paper that we
Yep.
had and kind of put this together, and if there's things that you don't like or you'd like to see added, feel free to share that with me and I'll
And then you-
forward it on to him.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So just informative right now.
Yep.
Okay.
And was that comment about Monday, June 26th, a work session for us?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
At 5 or 5:30?
5:30, we can go, I mean, it's up to you, whatever you want to do.
How did I miss that?
I must have
didn't have
missed
it on
it
my
too.
calendar.
Okay, so board meeting.
What's that?
I think we all might have missed that.
That's okay, 5:30.
It's on the calendar, the board calendar too.
Okay.
Was that decided in the last work session?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I left early.
It's probably, it won't be a 3-hour session. It's more like a 2.5 is what it will be. Because more work we'll get with this, because then the building leadership teams and the departments are getting together on that Tuesday to finalize their work. So if you want to start at 5, I'm sure Dr. Queener can start at 5 and then we can be done earlier. If you want to go at 5:30, we can start at 5, whatever works for you.
I'm gonna have to leave by 7, so.
When's Tim get back?
Tim
John?
can't,
He gets back the 24th.
he can't usually do 5s.
What's that?
Tim
we should
usually
be-
has to do 5.
Okay.
An hour, hour and a half, you think?
I'll let them know that we'd like to keep it under 2.
Yeah.
I have to.
Because if John, yeah. if
And
Don
if you have
has
to,
be
I
done by
mean,
7.
a lot of the legwork will be done. Usually that last bit is just kind of review and making sure we have all of our pieces put together.
Start at 5:30 then.
5:30?
Full time.
That's what I have scheduled right now, so yeah.
5:30 then. Okay. I'll do it under 2. I'll push for that.
Okay. Next, under 3A, we have the Board Human Resources Committee meeting report. You guys just want to give it all to Shelley, or do you guys help her out at all?
She's good. She's got this. Welcome to your meeting.
We approve Shelley, yeah.
That's mainly what we did.
Yeah, we received the job description, the timeline interview process for the assistant business manager position. Are we any further with that, or?
It's on the list.
It's on the list tonight?
Yes.
So,
Stacy.
forward to it all. And then, John and Ted just updated us on the negotiations and, reviewed staff workdays on June 1st and 2nd. Really, it was pretty short and sweet. That was about it.
Any questions for any of the board members on human resources? I was just gonna ask, like, Shelley, how do you feel with where we're at, with needing to hire? Do you feel like that's attainable before the next school year to get us to where we need to be to get positions filled?
I'm hopeful. I mean, we got a resignation today that was unexpected, so, I mean, we have a lot to offer here. And we're
Yeah.
a great community, so
Yep.
hopefully
Cool.
applicants. The worry is, of course, they've already signed contracts but hopefully we'll find some people who it's-
Thanks, Shelley.
On a side note, we did have an opening at elementary school, and it hasn't been open that long. We have 6 applicants, and the one that would resign today, we already had somebody that was interested in it. So we do have people, I think, as we talked about, word of mouth and those sort of things that's happening.
Someone from within the district, you mean? Or just someone knew about the?
This summer, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that person just didn't sign their contract today and decided to do something different, so.
All right. We'll move on to the approval of remote work agreements. We just need a motion to move forward on this.
This is something, we've had the attorneys review this and, went through it all. We've been wanting to have it for a long time. I think we tried to have it set in place last year. We have a couple people who work remote full-time, so there are 2 separate agreements to be looked at here for your review. So, any questions on these?
So is there any need for this, like for snow days, is that what it is for, or just like a random?
It's really intended for a lot of the people that are, well, the full-time obviously are the 2 staff members that we have working today. The other ones are for, who it applies to, mostly the people who are working throughout the summer, non-student days, no weekends, just applying to that, yeah.
I see the list here.
Can you scroll up, right?
87.
So page 87 has all the people that this applies to then, right?
Correct, right.
Or could apply to,
Could apply
not
to.
necessarily. Some of them probably wouldn't do that, maybe.
They don't have to.
Exactly.
They don't have to, okay,
It's just an option for them.
sure.
Is this new?
It is new.
That's I paid attention. Okay.
This is similar to what other districts have in place as well, Shelley.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Just want to get it defined for people.
And am I reading this right, that it only allows 4 days a year?
Correct. It's beginning in July.
Oh,
And that's taken in half-day increments. It can be, I want to be gone for an hour, I want to do this for an hour. It's,
And it's kind of a pilot, we talked about, that if it doesn't work, they could go away.
Is the plan, if it does work, to increase those days? Or is that 4 days?
Well, it would depend, I suppose. Currently, no. That would be, we want to limit it to 4. I mean, we want people to be in the buildings, we want them to be in here. I think there's a big sway. There used to be, my husband works in IT, and there were a lot of jobs where you could find remote positions, and there's hardly any available now. He was looking yesterday, and there were 363 jobs open, and only 2 of them were remote. So it's shifting a little bit, and it's more important to be in the classrooms, be in the buildings, be in with your colleagues working. So, but we want to make that option available to people if they need it too. So,
Sure. Be flexible. Okay. Just need a motion to approve if we want to move forward with that.
I think I personally have a few more questions
Good.
that don't necessarily have to be asked right now, but
I'm not sure that I'm in favor of voting on this
Okay.
tonight, personally.
These wouldn't be during school days though. They have extended contracts and this is just working from home for people that have an extended contract. It's not during a school day.
so for example, if the assistant principal wanted to work 4 days from home in the month of July, that option would be available to them to do that. And it's spelled out what the parameters are, like what we would expect. We want them to work in an environment where they're not going over anything private in front of
Yeah.
anybody else in the household, just spelling out all the details. And like I said, the attorneys looked it over.
And it's just half-day increments, is that what you're saying, or? Yeah. Okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but. And you said this is pretty common with some other schools or some other things you've seen with this? Well, I
Well,
just,
I mean, I've been in my position for a couple weeks, so.
no, but like, do other, so you're saying like, if Abby was the director of food service, wants to work from home one morning from 8 to noon, otherwise her option would be right now what? She has to come into her desk, or she
Take a
doesn't.
vacation day.
Or take a vacation day. I think this is a good option.
I can't say that it's probably common across every place. It's becoming a little bit more
That's what
common.
my question was.
And if you would have put this out there 5 years ago, it wouldn't have been there. I mean, no, but with the COVID piece, it came to the point that there are some times that people can work remotely based on different things within their life that comes up. And our goal is to try it small and see if it works, and if it does, see what we can do differently. But if it doesn't, it's not to the point that, we can't rein it back in and say, we tried this, it's just something that didn't work.
I read through it a couple days ago, I can't remember exactly, but are there some parameters that they need to work within as far as why they're doing it, or is it just random? Weren't there some it needs?
With their supervisor approval.
Yep.
And typically you would report to your supervisor, this is what I'm planning on working on. It would be helpful if I could just do this from home with no distractions, or it's going to be up to their supervisor to approve it, certainly. But
So what did drive this? It wasn't there 5 years ago. What's the main reason why this difference?
to have an agreement.
Well, if these things weren't done 5 years ago and we got by just fine because the job, then are you paying for this? What's the pine?
COVID opened that
It opened
door.
the door.
It cracked it.
I think it proves that a little bit of flexibility. Like I know with my job, there's days that I have to work from home because it's quiet and there's no distraction. And if people keep walking in my door, I get nothing done and I can't hit my deadlines, right? And so for this, it's not like we're giving them unlimited, but I think that this is, Ben talked about it earlier, like a lot of jobs are now being really attractive to people because they're at home, they're remote. So a mom can throw in a load of laundry and still and she can throw in dinner and still get her work done. And so I just hope that we can continue to, in education, it's hard to be flexible because you have kids in the seats, you have to be there, right? But in some of these leadership positions, can they write a grant? I'm just throwing that out there. Can they take 3 hours at home with absolutely no distraction and write a grant?
I understand that. My question, I guess, is why are we limiting it to 4 days? If that's truly the need, if there's truly the need for them to avoid the distraction, why are we saying it's limited to 4 days a year? And my next question is on bullet point number 4, employee will notify their supervisor within 24 hours in advance, except in the case of an emergency. When would there be a case of emergency to work from home?
Your washer died. MediaCom's coming from 8 to noon. Those type of things. And it's not, is that a really emergency? Maybe not.
Right, I did have that occur earlier this year, where almost exactly what John was saying, where an employee had a repairman come in, that 8 to noon. He could have taken vacation. At the same time, we got work to do, and we could be losing all that work time, or we could just have him do the job.
Right.
And so that was a case where I was like, sure, we need the work to get done, let's get going. And so.
Spouse recovering from surgery, I've had that a few times where they've wanted to do that.
So
To be home in case something happened.
when you guys say non-student days under availability, that means, for instance, we'll say your position. Is a student day mean like when school's in session? So you wouldn't be able to when school's in session, even though maybe you don't have direct contact with the student. So it's just school's in session, nobody can do the work from home. Okay, I got it. Okay.
I like it. It's just one little extra thing to like entice somebody, kind of have a unique work day, but at the same time, it isn't unlimited. I think one thing we have to be careful when we're an entity that uses taxpayer dollars versus the private sector is we got to have some level of accountability, and so it gives a little bit of freedom, but it still maintains that level of accountability. Where it's not like just free reign, do whatever you want, go work from wherever you want. So I think it's good. I like it.
So a lot of these people, Ted, they report, several of them report to you, correct? So you or Jonna, really,
Yep.
is kind of the two people that would be monitoring this. And Ray and Paul, our cabinet team. What's the motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the full-time remote working agreements.
Motion made by Ben to approve,
I'll second.
seconded by Sue. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Next is the Board Technology Committee meeting report.
That was on May 23rd, is that the one we're talking about? Yep, so we just went over, Ray and his team have been working really, really hard on our incident response plan. He's been to some conferences, brought back a lot of good information, and how do we continue to kind of move forward to keep that stuff safe. And making sure we have our safeguards in place. You can elaborate more. I don't want to elaborate too much because then I get in trouble.
No, I think that's great. The reality is a lot of the things that we do on the IT committee, we can't necessarily spell out in public meeting. So we have to make sure that we're keeping our staff and our students safe, and Ray's doing a great job of that.
Cool. Anything else? Any questions for the Technology Committee members? Okay, next is the monthly financial reports with Jonna.
It's April. Remember, April's the favorite month of the year.
Yeah, don't we get some money?
Because we get a lot of money, yeah. Second half property taxes have come in, so you can see that that's beefed up our general fund, well, and as well as the other funds, if you look at the balance sheet. Looking across all of the different funds, does anybody have any questions on the first?
So close to 15 million.
I know.
The It's a great month
It's a
for the school
goal for
district.
next
It's not a great month for the rest, for all of us that pay that.
Thank you
Write
very
those
much. Thank
checks.
you very much for paying that.
All your property owners
So,
are big
yeah.
checks.
So, the next, the budget to actual expenditures shows the 4 different areas we watch. April is 83.33, so, you know, we look at 21 to 22, 22, 23, we're just under 62% both, you know, so we're monitoring, we're kind of along the same path we've been. But remember, June is a big month, it's a long month, it goes till about September, or August 31st. So, you know, once we have May done next month, we won't have any financials until we get that June 30th close. So right now, we're tracking very closely to where we were last year, so, yeah. And there's the line, Mac, that's so close to 15 on the next one. Right there, yeah. You look really close, you see 15, yeah. So,
Self-insurance funds back up.
self-insurance is doing well.
Or workers' comp, or is that somewhere else?
Worker comp would be out of management, so management's,
Saw that note about workers' comp, and I can't remember where it was, but
that was,
that's in another
that's down the
section.
way and
Okay.
the notes that we had
quiet.
from finance. From what?
I'll just be quiet.
You're good.
I'm getting early on stuff.
Yeah.
All right,
Any questions?
motion to approve the monthly financials.
I move to approve the monthly financials.
Motion made by Donna. Seconded by Mac. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Next is the audit committee meeting report. I was on that.
Brief,
It
yeah.
was, brief. Gina, Jane, and Clint all met with us. Yeah. It went well. It's not really much. It's a long
I read
report.
part of it, but
A really long report.
it was long.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess he addressed the large drop in the pension liability due to IPERS, better than 7% return this year. This may correct itself in future years, which I would expect it would as well.
Because I think that IPERS had a 30% gain last year versus their normal 7, which then dropped, you know, then our liability went down drastically. That was, you know, when I was going through the report prior to approving it, to let them move on with it. I didn't know why that was happening, you know, because typically that goes down incrementally, they think, because IPERS is over 80% funded now, but still not 100%, obviously. So, but yeah, so he said, watch that change and this pendulum go the other way. So it looks funny, and we'll have to see where it goes next year, so.
That's just a report. We don't have to move.
The
Approve
next
that.
one is the report of the approval.
Okay, cool. There we go. So I just need a vote. I can't make the motion.
We're making a motion.
Wait, John. Where's the next one?
The next, so 180, page 184, go down, right here, going the wrong way.
184 is much further.
184.
I'll make a motion to approve the board finance committee.
Back, I'm like, that's 184 is way down there.
Look at it. Oh, no, it's 90, it's 100. Except it went from
Was the audit committee report? Is it
audit committee report, go to the next one. Yeah, slowly, there.
finance committee?
Oh, mine shows that, so that's very odd.
I don't think there's a
Okay,
motion.
so finance, so the next one on the agenda is the audit, fiscal year 22 financial audit. Mine shows it, but yours doesn't.
Oh, no, mine doesn't show it.
Okay, so that is the next, it just is.
What's the verbiage then for Ben?
For Ben?
Yeah, I think he was gonna make the motion.
Acceptance of the 21-22 financial audit.
Make a motion to accept the financial audit for 2022.
Motion made by Ben to accept that financial audit. Seconded by Mac. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
It's weird because it's right there.
Okay, next is the
It says money.
fiscal year, the Board Finance Committee meeting report.
Here's your insurance stuff.
Tim and I met with Ted and Jonna on May 16th. We did talk about our insurance policy renewal and the big increase that it saw. Talked a little bit about the workers' comp and how that is fluctuating with, that was the IPERS thing?
No, the EMC, the workers' comp mod. Which one were you talking about?
the
Yeah.
workers' comp.
Workers' comp mod is an experience we've had with work comp, and we're now at 0.88, which is
I mean, you've had several years at
a
successful.
good 3-year average, right? So, which is, yeah. And it's, we have to be very careful to say that very loud. Yeah.
We talked a little bit about the safety grant. Still waiting on the door stuff to come in.
Still working on it.
And then John went over the PEP 1 Safe.
Those are all normal things that are going on in the insurance industry right there. So none of that's abnormal or against us at all. It's just, sadly, that's normal. See that the next couple of years.
Did more people sign up for the self-insured this year, Shelley?
They did. Yep. Very grateful about the HSA contributions that the district was willing to make. I was met very positively by staff. They really liked that. So,
How many one-on-ones did you probably do? You spent a lot of time on that, and you spent a lot of time meeting with people one-on-one, so thank you, because I know it's hard to understand insurance and what your benefits are, and when they hear high deductible, people just freak out and they don't. And so I know several people had reached out and go talk, and you were able to set up one-on-ones and
sometimes 1-on-5, but.
yeah, but at least you can so thank you, because I know you spent a long hours on that stuff.
It's tough, so.
But
it's
they
tough for people to
understand it.
understand, and, yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
Questions or comments for anything on that finance committee meeting, or for Matt, or no, not Ben. Tim's not here, I wasn't there. Any questions for Matt?
Do we need to move to?
No, nothing, no motions there. All right.
Okay.
Next is the board facilities committee meeting report. I did make that one.
Glad you take things seriously.
Yeah, we had the solar viability study there, completed the report. If any of you guys have questions on it, I'd be happy to kind of explain where we're at. We're having a follow-up meeting with IMU next week in regards to just some questions we have for them as a partner, community partner, and how the best way to move forward with this. But I think from our perspective, we felt like it was good.
Yeah, it's good. The other thing is we're waiting on some figures on how much it would be to put a ground array versus on the roof. For obvious reasons, at some point the roof's gonna need replaced and just things like that. So we're working on that.
And I haven't received the ground versus roof array, but I did receive what it would take to do the roof, to take off. He said it'd be about, today's dollars, about $6,000.
$6,000 to remove and reset.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what we talked about, part of it. Like, the ground is gonna be a little more expensive, but we were just trying to figure out kind of what the break-even point would be if it would,
Yeah.
it would be cheaper to pay more upfront.
That, and then, of course, there's some great information there in regards to the schematics for the new high school, and then some really nice renderings of exterior and then moving into interior design of what the high school would look like. Don't get too excited when you see the big blank spot on page 134. That's just trying to show you what the in-between stage would look like of having phase 1 done, but phase 2 construction would be going on at that time for the gymnasium there. So
Are they still looking at it, or what's our new timeline? Do they have any idea?
Still,
Still
timeline's
February
still the
this year.
same.
First phase will be 2027.
Well, we'll bid out this February, so they're still working on design stuff, and then, yeah, and then it's 3 years of construction-ish.
Yeah, so 2027.
Yeah.
John, too, what happened, when our financial people were here and they said the legislature's meeting there might change that evaluations from 3.8 to 1.7. Do you know what happened with that?
So, you mean what happened now going forward?
Yes, I mean-
So, one of the things that we struggle with here is our debt limit. So our debt limit is it 5% of our total valuation, so taxable, not taxable, total valuation. So what happened when they did this when everybody got a big raise in their valuations, they are going to offset that with a rollback, so you won't see more than a 3% increase. But the valuations obviously went up more than that. So that actually, ironically, helps us to be able to expand our our dollars to use. So it's kind of weird in that way, but it's, I think, going to help us with this, because actually we're meeting tomorrow with the architect and Travis, to talk through, because right now they're talking that we're 4 to 5 million over in phase 1, but we're under in phase 2. Can we do what can we do differently? So he's looking at ways to make that look different. And he said that piece happened after our first, the first amount that we took money-wise for the 10 million. So we're just we'll see where this goes, but it's more of, project costs as they're trying to hone down a number to be able to put out to bid. They have to have an engineer's estimate to say, what's this gonna cost? So if we get to and I think 70 million is what our, 70 to 72 is what we looked at. So for the first phase, with the second phase being about 20 to 25, so.
Page 152 of your board packet shows where the architects are still working on seeking that additional 4 to 5 million to get out, to try to get us within where we need to be and stuff. So they've already done some of that.
They've done some nice work over the last few weeks. The renderings we've seen, people have been very positive about.
Yeah.
Oh, good, okay. Because I was worried after we talked to them, so.
So, yeah.
And there's kind of a little calendar on 154. And that's about it.
Yep.
Any questions for Ben and I on facilities committee? Okay. Next is the board policy committee meeting report with Mac.
Go ahead.
Ryan.
Yep.
I would say Mac, I'll let you speak on that one, but otherwise, there's a new one that's completely new regarding board member social media engagement. It's all very much that's something we've provided, something comes down, that's when people. Well, Mac raised some questions, good questions about us, we kind of tabled it. We can bring those up. But other than that, this is another case, I don't believe any substantive changes, we're going to only rewording, wordsmithing, as Ted likes to refer to, but
No substantial changes
No.
by the committee.
no changes or input.
Right.
So would this be the first?
So this is first, yes.
First. So just a
Let me go back up here to the top.
motion on page 157. That's the recommendation.
So there's a second reading for 506.1E1 through the 506.1E9, and then a first reading for 401.05R1, 401.10, 407.02, 501.02, 604.06, 701.02, and 708. And this 200.04 was a new policy that was sent down from IASB that we tabled.
And I've reached out about those two and haven't heard back yet, so I'll reach out again.
And all that stuff is in the packet. If you guys have any questions, we're happy to answer those for you.
Is that your motion, Mac, or?
It can be. Make
Okay.
a motion to approve the first reading of those items and the second reading of the.
Motion made by Mac, seconded by Ryan. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Okay, next is the upcoming board calendar and the next agenda.
There is one change on the board calendar. The board policy committee meeting has been changed to June 29th, not June 22nd. It'll be the 29th, and I'll send out a calendar invite to those people that are affected by that.
It's on, wait, what one?
Policy.
Policy.
Policy, yep, board policy.
So we have, okay, so.
I will probably not be here for the next board meeting. I will be out of town. Mac, I think you'll be running the next board meeting.
You'll be in
I'll be
charge.
gone on July 18th.
18th, is that the 18th?
Yep. So I'll also miss the finance meeting that morning. Tim should be back, so we should be okay there.
Yep.
Might be gone now.
You might be gone,
No,
Jeff.
he might be gone.
You might be gone too.
I think he said he was going July 1st, something.
Okay. If we need to reschedule, we can.
Okay.
Sue, are you available on the 18th? Donna, Ben, are you guys around on
Oh,
the
you're
18th?
talking about for the meeting that night.
HR.
July 8th.
Yes, I'm in town that week.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we have a quorum.
Yep, I will be here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Irving's back in by then, right?
Yeah, that's what I was just trying to figure out in my head. Yeah, I don't think I'll go anywhere.
Okay. Anybody else, any comments on that? Next board agenda? Looks good. Are we having any like presentations or anything like, oh, there we go. Solar and high school projects update. Okay, cool.
Envision will be there. You were going to give an update.
Vision and solar.
Yep.
If that comes back after facility meeting on July 5th or 6th, remember?
And Envision give an update on two.
This one as well, they could.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion made by Mac to adjourn. Seconded by Ryan. All those in favor say aye. Adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.